Actually, still half asleep, guys. Not going to lie. Good morning. Welcome to Friday Frenzy. You have Mark and myself. We've got so much to talk about today. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. Are we doing an intro, Mark?
Yeah, we had a big Year 10 formal last night.
We
that we
did.
had to drop and pick up from.
Oh, yes.
Big
Our
night.
16-year-old daughter had a Year 10 formal, which was delayed so much because of COVID. And then it started bucketing rain down here in Sydney, and thought, oh, no, it's not going to happen again. But the skies cleared. They had an awesome night. Mark and I didn't get to bed until about 1:30 because we had to duck out, or I had to duck out and pick up Jade, but you didn't go to sleep either. And here we are, bright and bleary-eyed. Yeah, a bit bleary-eyed, but we're here, guys. We're here. That's the main thing. We've got tons to talk about today.
Big week for real estate. Big week for property.
Yes.
Where are we going to start?
Okay, well, I'm glad you asked because I've written a list. I love a list.
Go to the list.
Yeah.
Shore Financial visited.
Yeah.
Good
I
guys.
missed it, unfortunately, because I was at a conference, which we're going to talk about in just a sec, but over to you.
Shore Financial, very interesting. And why do we educate ourselves with financial services and financial guys like Shore? It's just a forever changing market. So having these guys come in was awesome. My big takeaway from Shore Financial visiting Novak last week was...
So what do they do, Mark?
Basically, they financial service...
Just for the people out there, obviously I know.
Mortgage brokers and advice and advisory and stuff like that. They're a huge team of 60, 70. Theo, owner, came along to our office. A lovely guy.
They're all lovely guys there.
Smart, whippy bunch of guys.
Yeah.
And my takeaway from sitting down with those guys for an hour, half an hour, was get your loan now because assessments are going to change as rates go up.
Wow.
They already have gone up. So it's like, go for your loan now, get your loan now, and if you can work it, work it. But if you're going to wait a year's time to buy, you may find you're in trouble. Another thing that I learned is there is a couple of brokers that actually will approve you now without buying something, and you can carry that approval for quite a long time with you without having to
Okay.
yourself.
So from my understanding is that these approvals last for about 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some require an exchange to lock in rates and approvals and stuff. Some don't. But I think the big takeaway was, guys, just get in there. If there is an ambition to borrow money, get in there now. Ask for the money because assessments are changing over that period. So that was my takeaway.
Okay, wow.
Coming in
we might pop some contact details in there actually for these guys, Shore Financial.
Yep.
As I said, I've had dealings in the past. I do refer on to some of those brokers there, but they've always just been absolutely, exceptionally professional.
Yeah.
The advice they give is easy to understand, which is really important. If you're not great with numbers, I'm not wonderful with numbers. The fact that they'll take the time to sit and actually explain stuff so that you do understand.
Yep.
But just absolute professionals in their business.
Good guys, but the way Luke just said that is probably the best way I can summarise at the moment the market. It's not a property game anymore. What you buy, how you buy, what you buy. It's a finance game. That is the real trick. That is, I think, coming out of the investigation, the Royal Commission that was had a couple of years ago. I think it changed Australian property forever. And I think it is a finance game. So make sure you've got a good broker, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Drew, good morning to you, you legend.
Hey, Drew. Met up with these guys yesterday. Absolute legends. They celebrated their 1-year birthday up in Alice Springs.
Yep.
There's some live stuff, guys, on social media there about these guys, Drew and Tony, Alice Springs Realty. So they started out a year ago.
Yeah.
And these guys now sell 38% of their properties in Alice Springs off their social media. They said they walk down the street now, they do about 5 to 6 hours a day of socials. They walk down the streets and everyone's like, guys, hey, I know you, I see you. So, well done to them. That's that consistency that not only, pays off, but has been absolutely phenomenal for their business. So massive congratulations. Lovely as people.
Well done.
Can't wait to get up there.
Anmal, how are you?
Hey, Anmal. Hope you're well. So, guys, this week I attended on Tuesday and Wednesday the Mastery Conference with John McGrath and Tom Panos. And it was funny, like there were some agents in the room that were coming up and saying, God, I wouldn't think you would be here. And I was like, well, I don't know it all either. And I think, there was some really, besides some phenomenal key points that I took away from that conference, but I think if we ever think that we don't need to know more, we're really in trouble.
Stuffed.
You really still you've got to sharpen your skills and
stay hungry.
You got to teach the old dog new tricks as well. Like I think, that sometimes you've not that I've been in real estate sales myself for that long.
3 years, 4 years?
4 years now. But, I think things can now start to get old very quickly as well. So you need to make sure that you're continually ahead of your game. But one thing that I really picked up out of that, Mark, was watching John and Tom from afar and how they actually treated people. And I know they're in the game for obviously, promoting themselves as brands. That's what they do as well. But besides that, this is not fake, what they do. They will stop and give their time. They were trying to eat lunch. They were trying to get out the door. They were trying to make calls. And they just would stop everything to have really lovely conversations with people. So it was nice to watch.
They are big give backers.
Yeah.
They built a career on giving back, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really, really good point.
Clever buyer optics.
Yes.
Was something I thought was interesting. I think the way a buyer perceives today's market is putting them in front of the game, because a lot of people are choosing not to compete for whatever reason, COVID or whatever that may be. But I think people that are out there that are getting the job done optically, they think, it's a good time. The market is not doing 150 k's an hour; it's doing 60 to 80 k's an hour.
Yep.
They're jumping in, they're getting their finance approved. These guys have a really good perception and a hold of the market, and I think it's going to pay dividends.
Yeah.
Because the amount of times I've seen people buy a property and then I look at them 3 years later, 5 years later, I go, how did you know? Like, that is just, you brained it. And a lot of it's just, I think, understanding that market and the optics you have on that market and what you take away from that market is really, really important at the moment. So knowledge is key to make a decision.
And also just be aware, if you are a buyer and you're watching this and you're waiting for the market to come right down and to hit rock bottom, the only time we actually know that that market has hit rock bottom is when the markets come back up again.
Yep.
There's no other way. There is no date in the diary when the markets hit rock bottom. The discount's there, guys. It's there. I was talking to a buyer the other day, showed them through a beautiful property. We've actually had a meet the market price guide on that property. And he said, I'm going to wait. It's going to come off more. I said, no, you got your discount. It's there. And, likely this market is just stabilising, certainly here on the Northern Beaches.
Yeah. If you get
right now, that's what I'm seeing, Mark. I'm seeing that it's stabilising.
And if you get into a building, so you want to travel up ways in a high rise, you're in a 20-story building. If you get in at level 2 or 3 or 4 and you get out on level 16, 17, 18, you've actually done well. If everyone wants to get in at level 1 and everyone wants to get out at level 20, and then they kick themselves up the bum if they don't get that right, or they just choose not to do anything. So I think everyone's got to remember, whether you're a buyer or whether you're a seller, as long as you're going to get that elevation out of the market, you're fine.
I agree. And it's always long term.
Yeah.
I think what people, a lot of people think property short term, market's going to come off, or wait another couple of months.
Yeah.
Forget it. Buy in now and just sit and wait for a couple of years. That's how long you're going to be in your property anyway. So, make sure that you are not playing that property market gamble, because you will only ever get yourself in trouble. I see people coming through open homes, Mark, from 2 years ago that literally have got 1.3, 1.4 million to spend, and they're lucky now if they can get into a nice 2-bedroom apartment, let alone a house. So that just shows you that shift in the market. In saying that, last night we did a deal quite late last night on a 3-bed, 1-bath apartment for 1.4 mil in DY. Still really big money. Now, I had sold that property about 2.5 to 3 years ago, so it was the second time round that I was selling it. and had sold it about 2 or 3 years ago, it was circa 1 mil. So that market is well and truly up. Well and truly up.
What gets me, guys, is please don't forget this. If you took that story anywhere around the world, they would think you're a liar. If you took it to America, if you took it to America, if you took it to Italy, and you said that you'd made tax-free in 3 years in a safe property market, you'd made $400,000.
Yeah,
People would say there is no chance.
I agree.
That
And Miles
happen.
just made a good point as well, Mark, just saying that, financing is going to be harder to get. It's actually just that comment above. So, financing is going to be harder to get, and it will likely become more expensive with the rise of interest rates. So, you guys have just got to work out what's best for you. Sometimes situations change as well. I met with some clients yesterday, and I was just about to sign up a listing for a property in DY, and the husband and wife came in to see me, and the wife said, we're wanting to move up to the coast, because I was asking them, what are you guys planning to do once you get sold? And she said, but, my husband isn't working at the moment. And I said, guys, please be careful. The last thing I want to do is get you sold only to find that you cannot go and get a loan.
That's a good one.
Please speak with your broker or your bank first. I don't take glory in doing that. So just, be aware that, situations change over time as well.
Yep.
And so while you might be able to buy something now and pay what you feel like might be a little bit more, your situation could change over the coming months.
And we said that last night when we were talking. It's all about the journey. So it's not about just selling a property because you own it, or being an agent, just getting it done, getting it sold. It's about getting that client serviced into facilitating what they need to get done. So I think 100%. That journey is really, really important.
That was something
next.
But, that was something that came up over and over again in the mastery course was, a lot of these agents that were getting up and talking, they were talking about how well they service the vendor and how well they service the buyer, and building those relationships over the years and how critical that was. These guys made successful businesses just out of looking after people. That's really important. Speaking of which, I want to talk about our staff. Let's talk about our crew. I actually don't like referring to them as staff. I just think, we're all a crew, we're all a team. It's, that's
our
important.
Family.
Yeah. Let's talk about those guys, because we never do. No, sorry, let me take that back. We do talk about the staff a lot, our team a lot, but you guys see very similar faces coming up on our social media, and often what I was referring to when I was saying we never do talk about the team is that you guys never get to see the other ones that don't actually make their way onto social media.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that I'm keen to talk about.
And a lot of people don't know externally we're a team of 40, 50 staff. Now, 80 or 90% of those are not on the front line in social media, patting babies on the head in the street. They are there in the office grinding it.
The quiet achievers.
The quiet achievers, and they are champions.
Yeah.
Mother Teresa.
So we've got Brunka. Sometimes Brunka will pop on to social media. Brunks has been with us for, 15 years now. Yeah. She was awarded the Property Manager of the Year by realestate.com Australia-wide. You'd be hard pushed to find a better property manager in the world or a better person in the world. She is insane.
Amazing. Loaded with common sense, loaded with ethics, loaded with hard work, loaded with love.
Incredible lady.
She's a beautiful lady.
Incredible lady. I want to mention Tina.
Yes.
So Tina Stacey, our property manager ninja, has been with us forever. Tina's also a dance mum. Now, anyone out there that is a dance mum or knows a dance mum will know that these women are military. What they can achieve in a day is near impossible.
Yeah.
And so Tina just gets in, head down, bum up.
She's got zap.
She's a weapon, absolute weapon.
Zap, and she cooks the best lunches you've ever
she's the best cook.
Those lunches are amazing.
Yeah, she's insane. So Tina also just works so hard behind the scenes.
She refuses to go on social media. No chance in hell that she'll push her daughter up on stage to dance.
And on social media. I want to talk about Milosh, Mark.
The general.
is how long's Milosh been with us for?
8 years, 9 years.
So Milosh is kind of like our GM. What do you call him, Mark? The general. Call him the general. You awarded him with a hat a few weeks ago.
He's almost like a CFO.
Yeah, he is. This guy, I've never met a person that can get so much done between the hours of 8:30 to 5:30.
Yeah.
And often you'll turn around at 5:32 and you'll be like, Milosh, is everything all right? Like, you're still here and it's 5:32. The guy works like a Trojan, gets all his work done between 8:30 and 5:30, never misses a beat, does he?
Beautiful, man.
And he's the best guy ever. The best guy ever.
And we're actually selling him today as well to any single ladies out there. Milosh, the general,
what a husband.
he is the ultimate husband of husbands.
Yeah.
So
what a husband he'd be.
your daughters out there, friends,
what a
look up
husband.
Milosh Matejevic at Novak.
He's the best.
And also, so if you're going to a recruitment meeting, you're sitting opposite Milosh. If you're he just does everything with
He knows everything. He knows how to do everything. He's phenomenal. He literally is Mark's right arm. I want to talk about Michael Selic. Michael and I have worked together for 4 years now.
Yeah.
Guys, anyone out there who's watching who thinks they're going to poach these people, absolutely forget it. They get. I think people try a million times over. Yeah, try have a go.
Beautiful.
So Michael and I have worked together for 4 years, and we kind of fell into this, partnership in business, I guess is a good word. Michael's 26. He is the most honest.
What an energy.
The most honest person you will ever meet. And I thought, this is the perfect guy to deal with buyers. He's almost, I guess for use of a better word, he's like a buyer's agent for me in our team. People love him. Never had a bad word from anybody about Michael. No. Always absolutely, people are just, talking about him with glowing reviews. And I thoroughly enjoy working with Michael. We speak about 30 times a day, I think. Mike and I were out last night, and he must have called 10 times, but absolute top guy. Nikki Elliott.
Media.
Amazing woman.
She won't go on social.
No, Nikki won't go on social. Nikki's the quiet achiever, the nicest lady you will ever meet.
Beautiful.
What an amazing energy.
Insider now.
Yep, kind. Nikki left Novak probably about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yep.
But I bumped into her in Manly. She goes, I really want to just come back. I miss you guys. And came back, and I don't think Nikki will ever leave. She's just the most beautiful lady and does a phenomenal job.
Videography, photography, virtual furniture. Amazing.
Lisa Glynn. There's just, you know what, guys, we could go on and on and on. We have so many incredible staff that you guys don't get to see here on our social media that work tirelessly behind the scenes. We've got Kim's girls came and worked with us. I mean, we could just go on and on and on. Anyway, Stefan Bubalo.
Shout out to them, Mr. Boobs, gentleman in the industry. Anything else we want to summarise on today? So before we go, if you've missed it, we talked about beautiful people of Novak, the team, big team there, 45 people in the office. Shore Finance are dropping in, and what they're telling us in the marketplace is to get your loan approved now, because the landscape's going to be changing with loans. It already has. 80 agents in one room, what they said, spoke about that. The marketplace, what's the summary?
Summary in the marketplace is markets cooling right across the country. These agents were from Victoria, regional areas, coastline areas.
And these guys are givers. And 80 CBD's back. We spent a bit of time with the CBD last night at dinner, and it was pumping. So I think it's people are, even on a rainy day, people are there. And the optics over the marketplace, I think, is interesting. Your perception as a buyer, as a seller, clever people are making moves.
That's it, guys. I reckon that's a show. Stay dry, have an awesome weekend, and see you guys soon.
See ya.
Bye.